Happy Monday. We will have a shorter video today just because there will be a Zoom class later. So this will be a little bit shorter because of that. We are going to talk about housing problems. There are a lot of very good words in here. We're going to only focus on the words for this video, and I'll have you do the activities in the Google Classroom. I'll do my best to explain all of these words. If there are any words that you still have questions on, you can write a question in the comments. You can send me a message and let me know. I will try my best to cover all of them. I know there's a lot of vocabulary here that might be a little bit harder than we usually work with. It's all very good, very useful vocabulary. So, housing problems. So these are words to describe and talk about and tell about if there's a problem in your house or in your apartment. So let's take a look at these. Let's see. I'm going to try and move my face. All right. So you won't be able to see my face, but you can still hear my voice. I think this will work better because the pictures here are big. So, housing problems. Number one, the toilet is not working. Number two, there's no hot water. Number three, the ceiling is leaking. Number four, the window is broken. All right, so number one, we will get more words later. So when your toilet is not working, we will get some more words for that a little later. So I'm going to skip that one for now. There can be different problems with that. Number two, there's no hot water. So this means the water coming out of your shower is cold. And we don't just mean, after you take a long shower, the water gets cold. It's you turn it on and it's just cold. Three, the ceiling is leaking. So if you look up, you will see the ceiling. The ceiling is leaking. Leaking means there is water coming through. So maybe a lot of water, maybe a little bit of water, but there is water coming through where it should not be. The window is broken. I think this one we know pretty well. We can see it's broken, so right there's the broken window. Let's look at the next one. Number 5, there is no heat. Number 6, the air conditioner isn't working. So two similar problems in that they both are about the temperature in your apartment. So if there is no heat, your apartment is very cold. So this could be a big problem in the winter if your apartment is very cold, if your heater is not working. The air conditioner isn't working. This means your apartment is very hot. There is no cold air in your apartment from the air conditioner. So in the summer, this would be a big problem, right? Because it's very hot in the summer and we turn on the air conditioner to keep our house cool. So those are two problems. Number 7, the smoke alarm isn't working. 8, the paint is peeling. 9, the carpet is stained. 10, the outlet is unsafe. Smoke alarms. So these are usually on the ceiling, as you see here. So actually, can I go back? Let's see. So ceiling, I'll let that disappear. So you remember our word ceiling. So this is a ceiling. We'll see a ceiling in just a second. So ceiling, C-E-I-L-I-N-G. So there's our ceiling right there. So these are on the ceiling, and if there is smoke in your apartment, what smoke does is smoke goes up. So if this detects smoke, if the smoke alarm, if there's smoke in your apartment, the smoke alarm will go off and it will wake you up. It will let you know that there is smoke. If your smoke alarm isn't working, it might need maybe new batteries, or it might need to be replaced. Replaced means you get a new one. Number 8, the paint is peeling. Peeling means the paint is coming off. So you can see here the gray paint is peeling. It's slowly coming off, right? Number 9, the carpet is stained. So if something is stained, that means that something else has gotten on it. So maybe a drink, maybe some paint, anything that has a strong color, and it has changed the color of that thing. So the carpet here is what has had its color changed. So here it looks like this could be maybe coffee, maybe dirt, something brown, is what we can be sure of. So this means that something was put on the carpet, fell on the carpet, was spilled on the carpet, and it changed the color, and we can't get it back to the color it is supposed to be. So that is stained. You can stain any kind of material, so not just carpet. You could stain your clothes. Usually when we think of stain, again, this is something that's permanent. So if we can remove the color, then we would not say it's stained. And again, stained is usually a color we don't want to be there, or we wouldn't choose to have it there. It's there by some accident that has happened. Number 10, the outlet is unsafe. So this is an electrical outlet right here. There can be many problems with it if it's not installed correctly. So this just means that it's not safe. 11, there are mice, rats. 12, there are cockroaches. 13, there are bed bugs. 14, there are ants. So these creatures, I guess we could call them that, these are all pests. We'll get that word on the next slide. So if you're worried about getting that word, don't worry, it will be on our next slide. So these are all animals and bugs that we don't want in our house, right? So the difference between mice and rats, so mice are smaller and have thinner tails, usually shorter tails. Rats are bigger and they have longer, very thick tails. This is the tail right here. And it's harder to tell when they're babies. I know because I lived in an apartment where I had rats, but they were babies, so I thought they were mice. But then I looked and I said, oh no, these are babies. So with those, it can be harder to tell when they're babies. But again, rats, when they're adults, they are bigger and the mice are smaller when they're full grown. Cockroaches, these you don't want in your apartment either. So these you'll usually see around kitchen areas. The same with ants. Ants and cockroaches usually are found around kitchen areas. Um, Ants, maybe some of you have ants. I actually had a small problem with ants. I took care of it myself. Ants sometimes will come into the house or apartment when there's a change in weather. So as you have noticed, it's getting a little warmer. Ants start going around and looking for things like water, also food, because they want food. Um, so maybe some of you have noticed some ants as the weather has gotten warmer because the ants are looking for water, and they're looking for food, and there's not as much water outside as there are in some of the colder seasons. Of course, there is lots of water today because it's raining. If you're watching this on the day I'm posting it, it is raining today. So cockroaches, ants, these you usually find in the kitchen area. Um, you can find them in other places too, but usually you'll find them in the kitchen area. And again, you don't want those in your apartment or your house. Bed bugs. These are found in the bed. So usually these come from, I'm not sure where they originally come from, but usually these can come from, so if, for example, you go to a hotel or a motel and you sleep there, and then they might travel with you back to your home. If you have them, you definitely want to take care of them, because they bite. Again, there are many other bugs you might have in your apartment. These are some of the more serious ones that if you have a lot of any of these in your house or apartment, you might need to call for some help in taking care of those. And we will go through a list of people that you can call or reach out to if you have any of these problems. So other vocabulary. So again, this is going to be a shorter lesson, mostly talking, mostly words. I will post all of these in the lesson. So anytime I ask you about any of these words, I will give you the meaning. Other vocabulary: pest, a bug or insect, or rodent. And a rodent is a rat or a mouse. Those are examples of rodents, etc. So basically, a pest is something that's in your house, in your apartment, and you don't want it to be there. It is some kind of animal or bug that causes problems. So example, you could say, I have pests in my apartment. Repair, this means to fix. Example, the window is broken. Can you repair it? Clogged, so this is kind of where our toilet talk comes in. So I promised I'd share a little bit about problems we may have with toilets. This can be true for anything that holds water or anything that water goes through in your bathroom. So I use some other examples here. Clogged, water will not go down. Example, the shower is clogged. The water won't go down. So if your shower, your toilet, your sink is clogged, the water stays in and it does not go down like it is supposed to. Overflowing, water goes over the top of something. Example, the sink is overflowing, there is water on the floor now. So let's say, for example, your sink, your toilet, something else, your shower is clogged. If it begins to overflow, that means the water goes over the top and onto the floor, which is something we don't want to happen, right? Because we don't want to damage the floors with water. Jammed, won't move. Example, the door is jammed, it won't open. So if something is jammed, it is supposed to move, but there's a problem with it that stops it from moving in the way that it is supposed to move. Drip, drops of water come out. Example, the faucet drips. You can hear the water. So if your faucet drips, you'll hear drip, 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 just like that. And it's just a little bit of water that's coming out, just one little drop, like a raindrop at a time. But over time, that can become a lot of water, right? So even though it's a small drip, you still want to make sure that you get that fixed, because it might seem like just a little water, but over time, a little water can become a lot of water. Install, to put in. I want to install a new sink in my bathroom. So when you put in a new thing for the first time, you set it up, you are installing it. Repair people. So you will see some of these in our Google Classroom today, in our activity. Actually, let me see. Okay, you can see my face again. I just wanted to make sure my face was not covering up any of the pictures. Repair people, so plumber, fixes toilets, showers, sinks, etc. So plumbers work with water pipes, anything with a water pipe connected to it. Things that move water through your house, that's what a plumber would fix. Exterminator, a person whose job is to kill pests, so bugs, rodents, etc. So if you have a problem with pests and you're not able to handle it on your own, you might call an exterminator. Usually an exterminator is if it's like a really big problem. So if it's just something small, so like for example, I had some ants in my kitchen, which happens every year because the summer they're looking for water, they want to come hang out near my sink. I was able to take care of it myself. But if you have like a lot and you're not able to control it, then you might, call for extra help. Of course, if you live in an apartment, you should always call your apartment manager first. And then they might, well, we'll get to handyman or maintenance worker, depending on what it is. They usually have people that they will send to fix your problem. So if you live in a house, you can call these repair people directly. If, however, you live in an apartment, you should call your apartment manager first and tell him or her what the problem is. And then they will usually have a list of people, of these kinds of people that they will contact. So for example, if I have a problem with my shower, right, and I need a plumber, I call my apartment manager. I say there's a problem with my shower. And then she says to me, I will call a plumber. And she goes to her list of plumbers that they work with and she makes that call. And then she lets me know. So just make sure if you do have this problem and you do live in an apartment, you want to call your manager first. Let them know. They will usually want to choose which repair person comes. But if you live in a house, you'll have to choose plumbers, electricians, you'll have to choose those on your own. Electrician, a person who fixes electricity in a house, apartment. So if there are electrical problems, so if you remember the outlet that was not safe, that is something that they could fix. Um, Handyman, maintenance worker, a person who does small repairs at an apartment. If you live in an apartment, you probably have a handyman or maintenance worker, maybe a few of them, who work for all the apartments in your complex. And their job is they will kind of go around, make sure things are running smoothly. If somebody has a problem and it's a small thing, they will come in and fix it. So for example, I'll give you an example. So when I had problems a couple years ago with rats in my apartment, there weren't very many, so it wasn't a bad problem. There were just a few, they were babies. And so they didn't call an exterminator, they called the maintenance worker at my apartment, and he came in and he helped me and he told me what to do. And we were able to catch the rats. I will admit I did let them go. Um, I walked them out to a little lot, just some empty land, and I let the rats go because I felt bad for them. But he showed me how to catch them. So because it was a small problem, you know, the maintenance worker was able to help me with that. Locksmith, a person who fixes and installs locks. Roofer, a person who installs and fixes roofs. Oh, let me fix this. I thought I put an S there, but I did not. There we go. All right. So these are some different names for some repair people. Of course, there are more problems you might have with your home. And in those cases, there might be other repair people that you need to call. If you have questions or if you have any kinds of repair people you want to know about, again, you can comment below, you can email me, you can message me, and let me know what questions you have. So you might have noticed when I exited out, this is the last slide. I know, crazy. You're like, oh my gosh, that was so short. It was a little short, but that's only because we do have a Zoom class later today, um, which hopefully I will see many of you at. If you're not watching this on Monday, what is the date today? I think it's, let's see, the 18th, Monday the 18th. There we go. So if you're not watching this on Monday the 18th, that's when the Zoom meeting is, the Zoom class. So if you're watching this like on a Tuesday, there's not a Zoom class on Tuesday. So again, as always, if you have any questions, you can comment below. You can send me a message, email, any of those things. So what you will do now is you will go back to the Google Classroom and you will complete the activity, the activities that I have for problems with the house or apartment. So again, thank you for watching. Happy Monday, and as always, stay tuned for more.